In this lesson, I'm going to show you some of the chords that gave me the most problems, gave me the most challenges learning guitar and playing guitar. And I'm going to show you just some different chord variations of them that make it a little bit easier to play, and they still sound good. So the first chord is the B minor chord. So typically you'll see this B minor chord in the key of D and in the key of G. So instead of playing the bar chord, B minor chord, we're gonna play this chord here. So it makes it really easy to switch chords. Again, if you're playing in the key of D, the D, the A, the B minor, the G. So this B minor here, this variation really makes it easy to play and just kind of stay in rhythm instead of flipping to that bar chord and trying to go back to an A chord or something. So for this chord, we want to make sure we strum the second string from the top and the rest of them down. So we don't want to hear this top string up here, this E string. And a lot of times when I'm playing this, sometimes I'll just have this high E string muted, just with the fleshy part of my pointer finger. You can definitely let that ring out. If you want to finger pick it, definitely sounds nice. But I don't know, depending on the song, I might just accidentally just have it muted. So that's your B minor chord. Again, easy to move and switch in the key of D. Also, if you're playing in the key of G, easy to get to that. If you're playing it in the key of G, you can easily just keep this high E string, keep your pointer finger and ring finger locked in on that high E string. Just play it like that. Or again, if you want to, you can just take that pinky finger off, play that high E string, or just mute it. So that's your B minor chord. The next chord that gave me a lot of issues was the A minor chord. So this A minor 7 here, you know, when you're changing chords from it really has, there's a lot of movement. If you're playing it in the key of G and you gotta switch to that A minor 7 there. So you're gonna see this A minor chord in the key of G and in the key of C. Not that you need to know that for any reason, but if you're playing it in the key of G, if you have this A minor in the key of G, the easiest way that I've found to play it, and I play it a lot now, is just getting into your C add 9 position and then taking this middle finger off and keeping this low E string muted, or just don't play it, and playing the bottom 5 strings. So C, A minor. So remember, if you're playing in the key of G, you know, the G chord, the D chord, the E minor chord, the C add 9 chord, you can definitely play this one here. If you're playing chords in the key of C, you know, this full C major, this F chord, you know, the G chord, you can't play this one, or I wouldn't recommend it, because I'm going to show you an easier way to play that E minor there, the A minor there. So that's one way to do the A minor. Again, if you're playing in the key of C, you get the C chord, the G chord, the F chord, where we're keeping these 2 fingers locked in on the bottom strings. And if you need help on some of these chords, I go through the chords in the key of C in a different lesson, so I'll link that up top. But to make it really easy, just keep this, you know, we've got our A minor 7 shape there, but we just keep our pinky finger on that high E string. So if we're playing in the key of C, C, keeping everything nice and compact over here, and we're just keeping a good foundation. Sometimes when I'm playing, if the song is in the key of G, I do like to even play that A minor there, the one I just showed you, because it gives it that nice little note there, A minor. So those are two ways you can play the A minor, which is a little bit easier. The next chord that gives people a lot of issues, and gave me a lot of issues, was this F chord here. So instead of doing this bar chord here, this bar chord F, which is just so hard to do. If you're playing electric, it's different, but on acoustic, you know, you're normally gonna see this F chord in the key of C, the one we just talked about, and then also it'll pop up sometimes when you're in the key of G. So the easiest way to get to this F chord, instead of doing that bar chord, is to go to your C major, and we're gonna keep the pointer finger there, keep the pinky finger there, and we're just gonna bring this middle finger and the ring finger both down one string. And we're going to mute the low E string. And I'm muting also the A string here. But if you catch it, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's definitely going to sound fine. So, but I usually do mute the top two strings either with my thumb, or I'll do the thumb for this top string here, the E string, and I'll kind of bump my ring finger into this A string here. That way they're both muted and you can just play. Instead of going from like a C chord to you know, that full bar chord there. So that F is really really nice, really easy to play and to get to. And then the last chord that gave me a ton of problems, and to be honest, it still does, is the D minor. The D minor chord has you going, typically you'll play this in the key of C, sometimes it's in the key of G, but this D minor, really just kind of an awkward chord to get to. I did a lesson on this one a few weeks ago. Just an awkward chord to get to when you're playing in the key of C, or you're in the key of G, it might come up. So an easy way to get to that chord without even, you know, doing anything uncomfortable, or just without making it more challenging than it needs to be, just go back to that F chord and then take your ring finger off, and there you go. And again, I'm kind of muting those top two strings here and strumming. You want to strum the bottom four. So that's a super easy way to get to that D minor without going to this D minor, which clearly it still takes me a little bit of time to get to there, to the regular D minor. So just a nice, easy way to get to that D minor. So anyways, those are the chords that gave me probably the most issues, the most challenges as a beginner and just through my guitar journey. And those are some of the ways that I've learned from other people, and just some ways that I've found to make those challenging chords a little bit easier, but you're still getting a good full sound and it sounds good. So hopefully that helps you out. If you have questions or you're confused about anything, definitely leave a comment down below and let me know.